Here's the code snippet we want to play with. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this whole code snippet starting here at line 168, right below the, the beginning boundary of the chunk. Scroll all the way down to the end of the chunk, hold down Shift and click right there. And then right click, copy. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to open a new script window. And I'm just going to put the stuff that we copied into the script window. So I've got the whole chunk. It doesn't have the chunk boundaries, of course. But just to make sure everything's working right, we can run it just as it was. So let's click on source, which will run the entire thing. I want to point out two things. The source here, we can do it two ways. First of all, let me erase this. Get all that stuff out of there. If you hold down this thing, you can say source with echo, and that gets you all of the commands pushed into the console and the output intermingled with them. On the other hand, again, let me erase that. Control L. I'm going to go back here, and I'll just say source. And then I don't get all the commands copied down here, but I get the information, the output, which is what I wanted. Okay, so let's go back again, and let's delete this. Control L. And I'm going to erase well, I don't have to erase that. Let's go over here. First, let's just run with a sample size of 1, and we'll do a source. And you see that what we got is basically the very, very similar to what you get out of doing the entire thing. The correct value is 0.79 something, and the standard deviation was 0.47 something. So these are very close. So that's with a sample size of 1, and you can see the skewness of the distribution. It's very right skewed. Now, let's step the sample size up to 2. And what happens? Again, source. Can you notice that with a sample size of 2, some of the right skewness, a lot of the right skewness is disappearing. You can still see a trace of right skewness there. And you notice that the standard deviation has been diminished from what it was before, but it's not cut in half. Now let's again double the sample size. Let's step the sample size up to 4. Click source again. And you can see that now the standard deviation has been cut roughly in half from what it was at the beginning. The mean is still holding where it was, right at about the correct value. And now let's double the sample size again, up to 8 in source. Standard deviation dropped again. What's happening to our skewness? A lot more of the skewness is gone. Double the sample size again. Source. Standard deviation dropped again. The skewness is essentially all gone. Double it again. Now you might have a suggestion that it's left skewed. It's not. This looks very much like a normal distribution. So all of the predictions made in that theory that we got out of the Carnegie Mellon material and that I repeated on the beginning of this presentation, all of them have been verified by this little experiment.